They got to here, and what they did is they overcommitted. You get out here too far, that's no good, because the guy grabs your leg, and that was my fault. I didn't stress enough. You can still probably take him over, but a lot of times you got to reload this and pop back here, and then when you take it over, you got to here, and then you kept going. You don't want this. You want to like, take him to where he gets to the side, and then pop your hip out.
Fellas, the one thing, Coach, just want to find back in. You've got this back leg here. You got to adjust yourself with this. This thing is not just going to.
That's right.
All right, this thing is on a mat, and you can adjust this and this with this.
This is called your rudder foot. Call that when I throw legs and cradles. Your rudder foot. You know what a rudder does on a ship?
Controls it.
Yeah, it controls it. It steers it. This steers it. If he bridges in real hard, I plant this. Here, if he goes away, I might have to readjust it, as Coach said. I might have to come here. But that foot definitely does a lot of your, of the finish of the move. Good point Coach DeAndre brings out, because you're in Region 6. And Region 6 is a damn good region. It's by far the best region in the state right now, and that's a credit to all the coaches that have really elevated the sport. And of course, all the clubs and all you guys that are wrestling. But what that means is it's a lot tougher to get to the States. The road to the States is hardest from Region 6 because it's hard to get out of the region. We've had guys, and you've had guys that haven't gotten to the States, and they're damn good wrestlers. And if they were in other regions, they're at the States. They're taking second in the region or winning the regions.
Cody Major, the guy that took second in the state.
Exactly, case in point. We had a kid, Donnie Miller. We had Mike Kiley. These are guys that are damn good wrestlers, and they didn't make the States. And the reason I'm bringing it out is the difference sometimes between taking third in regions and fourth in regions is doing the move exactly right. Everybody knows the move. It's doing it the right way and not missing any points. It might be the difference of finishing in the crotch instead of around the back. I mean, we used to have guys, just for instance, guys would switch on our team, and I was always taught if I switch him and I finish it off and they finish around the back, you're going to get 90% of the time. A good wrestler's going to high leg over you, and he's going to catch you, and you're going to get pinned. You're supposed to finish a switch. We used to call it Indiana at Memorial. I'm just making an example because this is the difference between winning regions and maybe not even placing. You're here, and you finish here. So when he tries to step over, I block it off, and I have a half or a cradle. Good wrestlers do not make mistakes, and they finish the move right. Doing the move 90% right and 10% wrong, not getting any points out of it, you don't get anything for quality points or for looking good. You gotta do every element right, and it might be not finishing off the cradle right. And you might get a kid that's a stud, and you catch him in the cradle, and you can pin him because you don't pin him, you let him off the hook. He comes back and beats the snot out of you the rest of the match, and you lose. So.
Hey, fellas, you know what? I know before practice begins, Coach probably tells you to get out, including mats and that. Then you got some time maybe to drill a little bit. And what do most guys do? What are you doing right now? You're sitting around talking and stuff. That's invaluable time. And you've got to find somebody who wants to get better like you do. Go into the corner of the room and practice these things. Because when you get into regular practice a lot of times, you don't get enough looks. You know, like in football, you don't get enough touches. You don't get enough stuff in practice. You can do it in 5 minutes. You could drill like 30 or 40 times the same move.
Great point. And the other great point is to ask a good wrestler to teach you something. Because I'm going to go to a move right now that made me. When I was in college, I was a mediocre wrestler. I'll be the first to tell you. I was 16 and 14, my freshman year of college. I went to Bloomsburg State, and it was in Pennsylvania. I'm a big storyteller, but my life has been a lot of stories. And I wanted to get better, and I redshirted, and I went to nationals, and I saw this guy named Mark Caravella, wrestled for the University of Michigan. He ended up becoming a 3-time national champ. His son wrestled for Missouri, and I think, did he win it? He won it, yeah.
Wrestled for Michigan.
Michigan.
One
One wrestled for Michigan, one wrestled for Missouri.
wrestled for Michigan.
But one also wrestled for Missouri.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the last one. The guy, and here's how the story goes. He wrestled a guy named Joe Zuspan, and I know Joe Zuspan because I wrestled him I wrestled him at Fargo. It wasn't Fargo then, it was Iowa City, but in the Nationals, and the guy kicked the crap out of me. And this guy, Joe Zuspan from Iowa State, was a nasty SOB. He beat Chiarella 4 or 5 times during the year because they were in the same conference. Michigan always wrestles Iowa State. Well, they weren't in the same conference, but they're both in super conferences. They always wrestled against each other in like in the tournaments, like the Midlands tournaments, and and in dual meets. So it was 5 times this guy Zuspan easily handled Caravella. They get to the finals of nationals. I hate to bring this up, but you can relate to this, and I can relate to this. Some of this stuff happened to me too. All of a sudden, Caravella gets on top of Zuspan and turns him like 3 times with this new funky leg ride to a tilt that no one ever saw before, and he beat him 8-2, and he wins the nationals. I swear to you, I was at the nationals, and my friends all wrestled. I was redshirt, and it was in Oklahoma City. I went to him after he wrestled. It was like way after. It wasn't right after. I wasn't going to get a punch in the mouth because the guy was, but it was after he had won. He was in a good mood. I said, "Listen, I'm a wrestler, Division I wrestler. Can you show me how you did that?" He sat down. He showed me for about 10 minutes, and he just gave me the gist of it. I used it all through college, and turned to a really good top wrestler. And I actually became very successful with it. And I turned almost everybody I wrestled, even kids from Iowa and good schools like that. Because it's a very, very good, safe pinning combination. You don't really get a lot of pins off, but you'll get a lot of tilts. And you call it a T-bar tilt, we called it a Caravella. But I see kids do it in high school, and they do it all wrong. And it's good to learn the right way. And if you do it right, you can pretty much turn everybody. And I had a lot of little nuances off of it, or little things that he showed me that made it really, really tough to stop. And Coach Sandri will tell you, we had guys on our team that, you couldn't stop one time once they got this T-bar tilt locked up. You were going to your back, and you were getting turned. And pretty much your defense is on bottom. And what really galls me is when I watch good leg wrestlers, and one of them was on our team, and he was a state champ, Mike Morales, and he wrestled from here. He always wanted to go for the guillotine and the banana split because it was a crowd-pleasing move and inflicted pain. But you're not going to get them holds on a good wrestler in the States. This you'll get in the state finals. If you're good. If you believe in the move and you practice it and you do it the right way, you can turn anybody with this, and I really think you can. And it's the safest leg ride, and you can really build up a lot of points with it, because I'll show you why in a minute. First of all,